If you've ever owned a Labrador, you've probably noticed that they love their food. And I mean, like, really love it. But have you ever wondered whether that food drive and that tendency to gain weight is more than just about their personality? Turns out it is. A recent study out of Cambridge University looked at hundreds of Labradors and found something really interesting, that some dogs are just genetically hardwired to be more prone to obesity. And unfortunately, Labradors are right at the top of that list. In terms of what they actually found, the researchers identified specific genes that influence how a dog's brain regulates things like hunger, energy use, and fat storage. And get this, each copy of the gene variation that they found was linked to about 7% more body fat. And now that's a huge difference for a dog. But these same gene variants are also associated with obesity in humans. So basically, this gene affects a brain receptor that normally tells the body when it's had enough food. So when the signaling doesn't work properly, the dog or the human doesn't get the same "I'm full" message. And then the result of that is more hunger, more eating, and more weight gain. They even created a type of risk score, which can be used to predict a dog's genetic risk for becoming overweight. And even within the same breed, some Labradors, using them as an example, were genetically far more prone to obesity than others. The researchers also found that chocolate-coated labs and those bred for assistance work had higher risk. And then they raised the really interesting question, have we been unintentionally selecting for obesity-prone genes by choosing dogs who are easier to train with food? The study also found that dogs with a high genetic risk were more likely to beg, scavenge, and seek out food in the home, even when they weren't necessarily hungry. In contrast, Labradors with a lower risk tended to stay at a healthy weight regardless of food availability or owner behaviour. But going back to dogs with the high risk, obesity was far more likely if owners were permissive with food. So what that means is that the owners would, offer scraps, overfeed them, or just not use structure around meals. I want you to think about that for a moment. They found that high-risk dogs would beg even when they weren't hungry. So there you go. You can absolutely ignore those puppy dog eyes. You're not depriving your dog. You're not starving your dog. Please don't be fooled. But if you do have a Labrador or another breed known for being food motivated, you might just need to approach diet and exercise a little differently. But here's the empowering part. The study also showed that owner behaviour made a big difference. So for high-risk dogs, consistent control of food intake and daily activity helped reduce their body fat score significantly, which, absolutely makes a lot of sense because, as we know, genetic might load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. So what can you do? If your dog always seems hungry, struggles to keep weight off, or belongs to a breed known to be more prone to obesity, there are a few key strategies that you can incorporate into your daily routine. Firstly, choose lower fat, nutrient-dense foods. And please don't rely just on kibble. I'd actually recommend against it for a lot of reasons. But one is that the research has shown that dogs fed a raw food diet tend to have a leaner body mass than dogs consuming a kibble-based diet. Now, that's not really surprising given the carbohydrate content of kibble. Definitely limit free feeding and giving table scraps. So food should never be left out all day, and the calories from table scraps add up a lot quicker than you might realise. You might use food puzzles as a way to channel that food drive in a positive way, and absolutely make movement just a daily habit because that's great for you, it's great for your dog. And what you may not realise is that you can also support your dog's metabolism and appetite with the right supplements. So our go-to recommendations are the Gut Protect, which I've spoken about a few times before. It really helps to improve satiety, it helps to improve digestion and nutrient absorption. So it's going to give your dog a much better feeling of fullness after it's had a meal. Cognition Care, which is our new pure MCT oil, it provides a clean energy source to support your dog's metabolism without promoting fat storage. So that's a really great one to look into. And look, for dogs that are already carrying extra weight, I'd highly recommend products such as Collagen Fort and Antinol Plus because they're going to provide joint support and improve mobility. If your dog is experiencing joint or nerve pain due to excess body weight, we would then recommend adding in the PEA+. But also remember that obesity creates an inflammatory state in the body. So this is why it's so important to feed an anti-inflammatory diet, i.e. not kibble, and to provide targeted anti-inflammatory supplements such as things like Antinol and PEA+. They can be hugely beneficial to our dogs. We often treat all dogs the same when it comes to feeding guidelines, but this research is a clear reminder that one size does not fit all. So just like in people, some dogs are genetically predisposed to gain weight more easily, but understanding that can help us make smarter and more personalized choices. So if you'd like support in helping your dog to lose weight, please reach out to us at info@canineceuticals.com.au. Definitely check out the resources page on our website. And we also have a podcast just on weight loss in dogs. So look for episode 11 and let me know in the comments. Do you have a dog that seems genetically wired for food? I would love to hear your story.